everyone, welcome back to Empathic Sight. So, did you know that legally blind does not mean that you can't see anything at all? That's right, it's not complete darkness all the time. It's actually a lot more complicated than that. So, let's break it down. So what's the definition of legally blind? Because I know that you've heard that before. So if somebody tells you that they are legally blind, which I am, it's actually talking about a form of measurement of vision. So legally blind means that you have 20/200 vision in your best eye or your dominant eye, which for me it's this one, or less, and that's after corrective, like things such as glasses or contacts. Okay. Another form of that is you have less than 20 degrees of your visual field. So what does that number mean? So for a frame of reference, someone with 20/20 vision can see something like an object they can see at 200 feet away. Someone who is legally blind has to be at the most 20 feet away in order to see the same object. But remember that vision is a spectrum. So not all people have exactly 20/200 vision. So it's definitely a broad term, even when we're talking about the blindness community. It's really wild how no two people who are legally blind can see the exact same thing. So people who are legally blind can see different forms of shapes, colors, movement, and all that kind of stuff, as well as brightness. So it's all a spectrum. They might have tunnel vision. They might have blurry vision. They might have a sensitivity to light. It's really wild, eh? So what do people actually see when they're considered legally blind? So somebody who has peripheral vision loss might also sound like tunnel vision. It actually is more like seeing the world through a straw. Whereas other people might still have the whole field of vision, so not central and not like peripheries, but they might see the world quite blurry. It's kind of like trying to read a book with your glasses fogged up. So it's really hard to focus. So what can we do to manage eye health? Now, some disorders are not preventable, such as mine. So some things that we can do, I have done a video on this, but I'll touch on it quickly. So some things that we can do is have regular eye checkups, wear UV glasses when we're outside, monitor chronic illnesses that can have an impact on our vision, and avoiding screens. Now there is one thing that I did in my other video, and it's called the 20-20-20 exercise. So every 20 minutes, stare at something that is 20 feet away for 20 seconds, and it really does help to kind of look at that long-term stuff as opposed to screens, which, let's face it, we're all on screens way too much. So what can we do to better understand somebody who identifies as legally blind? Well, first thing is be curious, ask questions. Sometimes, so long as you're coming from a place of curiosity and genuineness, people don't mind it if you ask them a question. But remember, if you're going to go up to them and ask them a question about their blindness, it's just like asking you a question about your health. So let's be respectful about it. Another thing is to be aware of adaptive technology. So a cane, a guide dog, braille, magnifiers. These are all items that we use to help us in our environment, but they're not things that limit us. And remember to avoid those stereotypes. Just because we're using adaptive technology, just because we're partly blind, does not mean we're not capable of amazing things. I hope this was helpful. Please remember to leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this, or if you want any other deep dives into what blindness is, and maybe even my own diagnosis. I live with Leber's congenital amaurosis, and I will do a video on that pretty soon. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share. And as always, thanks for watching.